In today's video we will discuss the top 10 Power Rangers villains. You don't want to miss this. Please make sure you subscribe to the top 10 jaw-dropping facts channel to stay updated with new videos. New videos release every Monday through Friday. Number 10. Master Koragg in Wild Force. Master Koragg was the main villain in the 10th season of the series, Power Rangers Wild Force. He was a constant antagonist through 25 episodes, and the ruler of all Koraggs. This villain was in fact so epic that creators chose to carry on his legacy through Dr. Victor Adler, who consumed what was left of the ancient Master Koragg and turned himself into a powerful villain. Although both of these Koragg leader villains were an awesome part of the series, all must come to an end when the Rangers come along. Neither of the Masters could hold their own against the 5 protagonists. Number 9. Koragg in Mystic Force. Koragg, the Night Wolf, is an antagonist in Power Rangers Mystic Force. He was a fearsome warrior, but unlike his allies, he was an honorable fighter, refusing to fight against the defenseless. He was a fan-favorite antagonist because of this sort of relatable trait, and because of the fact that he looked awesome. He was the most feared antagonist in the season, and despite his honorable ways, he was still loyal to the bad guys and would do anything to prove his worth to the Master. The only one who was more powerful than him in the season was the Master himself. Number 8. Admiral Malkor in Megaforce. Admiral Malkor was the leader of Warstar, a mighty military organization and main antagonist group of Power Rangers Megaforce, making him the mastermind behind the main antagonist. He was an insectoid, his looks based on moths. Unlike other villains in the series, Admiral Malkor doesn't let defeat make him angry. Instead, he appreciates a worthy opponent. When his efforts to bring his armada to Earth actually comes to fruition, it's one of the biggest events in Power Rangers history, bringing together all classic Rangers for the epic battle. While he's not the most powerful villain, his final efforts are epic and will always be remembered. Number 7. The Master in Mystic Force. Optimus the Master was the main antagonist of the season Power Rangers Mystic Force. This season was full of formidable villains, keeping the Rangers busy every minute. Starting from Koragg as the primary antagonist, there are a lot of surprises in the season, but there is one big bad wolf lurking underneath the surface. Or more of an octopus than a wolf is the Master. He's the demonic puppet master who's behind every villain in the season. Unlike other villains in the show, the Master doesn't just sit back letting his minions do all the dirty work. He's in fact trapped and is waiting for his freedom to take over the world once and for all. Once the audience finally sees this monster, it becomes clear that he's the most frightening villain the creators used so far. He's a demonic and gigantic octopus creature embodying everything that's evil. Still, he's no match for the Rangers. Number 6. The Psycho Rangers in Space and Lost Galaxy. The Psycho Rangers are the villainous counterparts of the heroes. Their signature colors are black, red, blue, yellow, and pink. They appear in the 6th and 7th seasons of the series, Power Rangers in Space and Lost Galaxy, but they weren't the major antagonists or masterminds behind the story. Instead, they were the creations of Astronema. In Lost Galaxy, they actually came close to defeating the Power Rangers. The Pink Psycho Ranger was the first villain to end a Power Ranger on screen, and despite the resurrection of Kendrix, this scene is one of the most powerful in the franchise, haunting fans to this day. Number 5. Jared and Camille / Daisher in Jungle Fury. Jared, a plain bully, was possessed by Daisher, and his most loyal ally was Camille. Daisher is the main antagonist in Power Rangers Jungle Fury. An 8-headed Chinese dragon, who in the large part of the season used the body of Jared, and the help of Camille to materialize his plan. Daisher often shows compassion towards Camille, which Camille noticed and begins to have feelings for him. In reality, that compassion stemmed from Jared instead of Daisher, giving the two hope to survive the main antagonist's grasp. Number 4. Tenaya in RPM. Tenaya is Venjix's greatest creation. She's a human infiltration attack bot. She was made to look exactly like a human, but actually, she's a robot hellbent on destruction. Later, it becomes clear that she's actually a modified human. Like Astronema, she has secret links to the Power Rangers as well. Her character's story and development is awesome, and one of the most creative in the show, making her a fan-favorite villain in the franchise. She was modified to have a lot of special skills, and constantly whistles an eerie tune, adding to her colorful character. Number 3. Astronema in Space. Astronema is the main antagonist in Power Rangers in Space. She's also known as the Princess of Evil and the Sark Princess of Space. She's one of the most compelling characters to watch, as her backstory and character development have the most depth possibly in the entire franchise. She has mastered magic, has enough fighting skills to take on the Rangers herself, and creates the deadliest monsters in the series. And above that all, she also has some strong ties to the Rangers themselves. She's one of the few characters who actually gets a full character arc in the franchise, as the audience gets to know many sides to her, making her a fan favorite despite her being a villain. Number 2. Rita Repulsa in Mighty Morphin. Rita Repulsa was a humanoid sorceress and the main antagonist in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but was a pivotal character throughout the series. She was a secondary antagonist in Power Rangers Zeo, a recurring antagonist in Power Rangers in Space, and she was the source of all magic in Power Rangers Mystic Force, making her one of the longest-lasting villains in Power Rangers history. But despite her long history, she isn't the most powerful villains in the series. Her creations aren't very bright and don't usually come close to actually harming the Rangers. That said, she's the most creative of the villains in the franchise, a master of disguise, a great schemer, and her magic is legendary. Number 1. Lord Zedd in Mighty Morphin. Lord Zedd was the main antagonist in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and was the true leader of the evil space aliens. He was a pivotal character in many seasons of the franchise. His monsters were the most powerful in the series, and his plans went way beyond destroying the Rangers. He wanted to make good guys disappear for good. He was one of the scariest characters in the series, and one of the most awesome villains in the franchise. The biggest baddest wolf, he's the major villain for the Rangers to beat. He appeared in 4 seasons, reigning over the biggest slice of the franchise. Even those who aren't fans will know his names, and fans will fear it. With so many great bosses from the Power Rangers, you have to decide which one is your favorite villain. I hope you enjoyed our top 10 Power Rangers villains. Please leave a comment below for any villains you think we missed. Do not forget to subscribe to the Top 10 Jaw-Dropping Facts channel. And new episodes release every Monday through Friday.